This is the Hyundai i20 and it's a bit like one of these new OnePlus phones. So it pretty much does all the same that a Samsung or an Apple phone will do, but it's just a lot better value. And it's the same with this i20. You know, it does all that a Volkswagen Polo can do, yet it starts from £10,000. Now, if you click up there, you can go to carwire.co.uk. You can build your ideal car online. You'll then get 5 great offers back from top dealers within 24 hours, so you can compare prices without having to haggle from the comfort of your own home. Speaking of comfort, what's this car like on the inside? So, yeah, for a small car, it actually feels pretty roomy here in the front. There's lots of adjustment as well in the steering wheel and the driver's seat, so it doesn't really matter whether you're big or small. You're going to be able to get comfy in this car. Quality, it's not bad either. So there's some soft touch materials on the dash, which is a bit plush. And on the whole, for this kind of car, this kind of price, it's not too bad. And the build quality is pretty solid as well. In terms of equipment, you don't want the entry-level S car because it doesn't even have air conditioning. You don't want the SE either. You want to step up to this turbo edition because then you get this 7-inch touchscreen and all the bits and pieces you need. In terms of the infotainment system itself, it is all right. You can navigate using these shortcut buttons nice and quickly while you're driving. The menus are easy to read and understand. The only thing is that the map doesn't have pinch and zoom. Also, it doesn't come with Apple CarPlay nor Android Auto, so you won't be able to hook up your new OnePlus 5 phone. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of the infotainment system, click up there and you can watch that. In terms of the rest of the interior, it's all very sensibly laid out. So your ventilation functions, they're all there, easy to reach. There's lots of controls on the steering wheel. Yeah, nice and simple. Good practicality as well. So you've got decent storage areas down here, and the door bins, my God, they're massive. Look, that's a big bottle, fits in there. And it's the same if we hop into the back. You got huge door bins here as well, and actually that continues the theme of the rear of this car. So for a small thing, it feels very spacious here in the back. Decent knee room, good headroom, people over 6 foot will be fine. The floor as well, you've got big footwells, you can slide your feet under the seat in front to stretch out a little bit more. The floor's almost completely flat, so if you have to carry 3 in the back at once, the person in the middle does have somewhere to put their feet. The car is quite narrow though, so you do feel a bit of a squeeze when you're travelling through up in the back, but you're not going to do that often in this car. Isofix points are very easy to locate. Look, they're not covered, so that's handy. And in terms of the rest of the practicality, well, let's go check out the boot, because this i20 actually has more luggage space than most cars of this size. It's really impressive, actually. In fact, there's a theme with this car, isn't there? You know, maybe smallish on the outside, but it's pretty big on the inside. So there is plenty of room in here. I'll just get that out of the way. And you might notice I have to lift that over this rather large lip, but most i20s come with a riseable false floor which you can store things under, and once you've got that in its highest position, there we go, there's less of a lip to lift things over. There's various storage areas here, so you've got some velcro straps there, a hook there, there's some tethering points here. Now if I fold down these seats, you'll see that when you do that, you do get a continuous load floor, so it does make it easier to push heavy items to the front of the car. So yeah, this is quite a practical thing. Now, if you want more detail on that, click up there to watch my detailed practicality video, and I'll show you just how much stuff you can fit into the i20's boot, how easy it is to fit a child seat, and what it's like with 3 adults in the back.
So now we've looked round the car, let's see what it's like to drive.
I find this i20 really easy to drive in town. The gear shift it's light, so's the clutch, the brakes, they're firm but they're not jerky. And then there's the steering, and that is super light, so it's dead easy to manoeuvre at slow speeds through gaps in traffic and to park. Yeah, simple. And then there's a suspension. It's pretty comfy over bumps. It does fidget about a little bit, but this is an inexpensive car. You're not expecting it to drive like a limousine. The visibility is good as well. Big windscreen, not too much of a blind spot here. Big side windows, the back window's big as well. The only thing is that the rear pillar is quite fat, so when you're pulling out junctions doing that, it does get in the way a bit. And you can see for yourself by clicking it there and by joining me for a POV passenger ride. If you're going to be driving your i20 on the motorway at any point, you're going to need the 1-litre turbo car. Now you can get it in 2 power outputs, but even this lower powered 100 horsepower version has enough punch to keep up with traffic and overtake when you're doing speeds of up to 70 miles an hour. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. The only thing is that when you rev this engine, because it's a 3-cylinder engine, it can feel quite vibey. You feel the vibes through the steering wheel a bit and the seat. Other than that, it's quite a relaxing car to travel in for such a small thing, so there's not too much noise for a small car, and it just feels pretty planted on the motorway. In terms of economy, well, I'm doing 43 miles per gallon at this little engine, which, you know, it's all right. Okay, then what happens when you leave the motorway in this i20 and you head out on a twisty road? Well, actually it performs all right, you know. It holds on pretty well in the corners, doesn't roll too much. The steering does feel a little bit flighty. You turn the wheel a bit and it's like, whoop, suddenly turning. But actually, yeah, it does a good enough job. It's not brilliant. It's not as much fun as something like a Ford Fiesta, but it's as good as it needs to be, and that's fine.
Now then, it's time for the Car Wow 5 annoying things about this car.
You only get a centre armrest on the very top specification car, although that's not too much of a problem if, like me, you have staff. Lewis? That's a little bit weird. This Turbo Edition car may come with a reversing camera as standard, but the definition is so low, it's a bit like when you open your eyes underwater. The entry-level version of the i20 only has a stereo with 2 speakers, which is what my phone has. As a result, the sound is terrible. Lumbar support isn't available even as an option, so you have to improvise if you've got a bad back and use something like the car's manual. Yeah, that actually works. This car isn't available with auto emergency braking. That's why it's scored just 4 rather than the full 5 Euro NCAP safety stars. Oh dear, I appear to have injured a box. Better put it out of its misery.
It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car.
The Hyundai i20 comes with a 5-year warranty, so that means you get 1,825 days, 43,800 hours, or 2,628,000 minutes of stress-free motoring. The vanity mirrors are nice and large, which is handy if your face is as big as your ego. I also like the fact that the light switch is up there, and it means that when you shut this, it always turns the light off so you don't drain your battery. The rear windows go all the way down, so you can comfortably rest your arm on there. Special attention was paid to the car's door sills and side mirrors to help reduce wind noise at speed. Some safety reflectors are built into the door's trim, so that if you open the door at night, oncoming drivers see that it's open. If you click up there, you can go to carwow.co.uk for more information and to compare offers on the Hyundai i20. So then, what's my verdict on this car? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Hyundai i20. It's a really good, great value, small car. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and click up there on the CarWow logo to subscribe to this channel. Down there to watch my detailed infotainment video on this car, down there for the detailed practicality video, and up there for the first person point of view video. Now then, did you spot the Easter egg in this video? It was the word Hyundai written in Korean on the mobile phone at the beginning of the video.